What is up, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of DMac Pods. Today, I'm actually joined by the president of Aggie Entrepreneurs, Chris. Welcome on the show, Chris.
Well, thank you, Daniel. This is the vice president of the Aggie Entrepreneurs.
Yes, I am the vice president of Aggie Entrepreneurs. So this is a collab that's been waiting to happen now.
Yeah. I know Jacob's been talking with me about his podcast. Like, he wanted me and Cody to come out,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's up with it anymore.
Well, I think he runs it out of Fort Worth now. Or
Yeah.
he's doing some, because I think he wanted me to take it over. And then I think he ended up, since I had my own, I think he just gave it to Avik.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, last I heard from Avik, that was the case, but I think his priorities are shifting, especially with his new partnership.
Yeah. Here, if you could just be a little closer to the mic, yeah.
Test.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no. I think, did Avik accept, do you know?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about the college CEO podcast that was started by the old vice president, Jacob.
Well, no, he was a recruitment chair.
Or recruitment chair. Yeah. And now he is graduated. Sad to see.
Sir.
He was a great man. Hey, shout out Jacob if you're watching this, Jacob.
Big loss to AE, man.
Yeah, big loss.
We lost a trooper.
Nah, he's a straight soldier.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to kind of get into some things about AE.
Yeah, man.
So if you mind, just whatever you're willing to tell the public. Yeah, the public.
I didn't sign any NDAs or anything.
Yeah. What are some of the events that you have planned coming up for the spring semester 2025?
Dude, so Jacob, he was really leading a lot of our workshops and initiatives with our events last semester. He was a really great addition, and I felt like he brought that kind of energy to the room and to the presentations. For next semester, I think it would be better to have AE as an entrepreneurial directory of sorts, where we could point people in the right direction of programs that are already happening at A&M. I mean, we have a lot of different programs happening with Mays, with the engineering department, even with McFerrin, but I feel like nobody knows about them.
Yeah.
And we just need more recognition. I like the social event we did at Logan's Place, too. I think that was pretty successful. Really facilitated a lot of connections.
Yeah, that was good.
Just more networking opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, like, 3/4 of our membership, whenever on our application it says, what would you like to get out of Aggie Entrepreneurs? 3/4 of them said network.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what we got to be. We got to be the network for the people.
exactly, man.
You know? But, okay, so we're at around, what is it, 57 members now?
Yeah, 57.
57. What's the goal by
Ooh.
the end of spring?
That's a good question. Ideally, 100. I would love to.
100? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
the
good.
3-digit mark. I would love to hit that.
That's a good goal.
I think it's realistic, too, because we have a lot of people, like you and Avik, that want to bring more people in the organization, really believe in what we're doing with it currently.
Yeah.
If we could maybe set up, like, a referral system or just, like, word of mouth, really incentivize that with the members.
Yeah.
I really, really do believe we could have 100 dedicated members, not just people just joining the group being like, oh, this is cool, but
no, have people show up.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of planning going to be going on during the break, so we got all that time. But I guess tell me a little bit about what Aggie Entrepreneurs did this year.
Dude, so I'll start with the beginning with the spring semester. So I was the vice president. There were really only like 10 people in the org, but really only like 4 other people that were committed to it. The Julianne, the previous president, was like, hey, I have an internship next semester. I can't really be a part of this organization anymore. I really do think that, with your vendor connections with Ninth Market, we can talk a little bit more about that too.
Yeah.
That it would be a good fit. You could find business owners to really bring into the organization and just revamp it. That was the buzzword we were using a lot. We're revamping the org. We're changing everything,
Yeah.
and we did. So over the summertime, I got my buddy Cody involved. Logan was a part of the org already. Jacob was too. And it was really just the four of us dedicated over the summertime. We spent a lot of time on the website, the rebranding from the Student Business Owners Association to Aggie Entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you can see why we made the name change.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge change.
Yeah. I mean, we figured the direction we wanted to go was so revolutionary with, SBOA to Aggie Entrepreneurs. It made sense to just change the name of the org.
Yeah.
And I think the branding really helped us out because whenever people see Aggie Entrepreneurs, they instantly know what we stand for.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Well, exactly. I mean, I remember I tried to find it last year, couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Right, because I was like, is there any entrepreneurship organizations on campus?
Yeah.
Couldn't really find anything.
Yeah.
And then this time around, looked it up again. And I was like, oh, Aggie Entrepreneurs.
So you've been looking for it for quite some time, then. Sounds like.
Yeah. No,
Damn.
I was looking for it for a while, but I mean, I went to a couple of the Wednesday midweek meetups.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of those last semester. But other than that, I couldn't really find anything on entrepreneurship orgs. And
Yeah. I mean,
so-
it sucks, dude, because we have so much potential with the A&M.
yeah.
And it's like the only two organizations back then was TAMU CEO and SBOA.
yeah.
Now it's only one unified org. TAMU CEO is under the, I guess you could say, holding organization of Aggie Entrepreneurs. So it's like a shell organization.
Like a branch.
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah. So we still have opportunities for people to fly out for the TAMU CEO conference in
Yeah.
Florida.
That'd be pretty sick. I kind of want to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
Really? What, is it? Do they hold it every semester, or is it just in the fall?
It's just in the fall, so
Just
it's
in
like
the
an
fall.
annual thing.
Yeah. Okay. So next fall would be.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna be around next fall, but with how everything looks, you may be the president for next fall,
Mhm.
so you'll be overseeing a lot of that initiative specifically.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be terribly difficult. I'm currently talking to the current president of TAMU CEO, and I think we could get something going for
Yeah.
everybody.
I mean, I don't know. As long as systems are put in place, I think.
Yeah.
I think everything will figure itself out. And obviously, we don't want to talk too far in advance.
Yeah, true. I'm
Yeah.
bad about that, dude. I love talking about the future so much that I kind of get lost in it,
Yeah.
and then it's just like unmet expectations. Kills
Yeah.
me.
Well, another thing I know is I heard this from Chris Williamson's podcast, Modern Wisdom.
I haven't heard of it.
It's a pretty good podcast. He brings this up quite often, and it's like the more you talk about the thing hurts the chances of you actually doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
I see that.
because you're like, if you go out there and tell everyone like, oh yeah, I'm starting this business, blah blah blah, in your head you're already living like
Yeah, true.
you've done all the work for that when you haven't, right? You're
Yeah.
like, you're telling people you've done the work, or you're making it seem like you have, even though you're not explicitly saying like, oh yeah, we've already gotten to this and that. You're like, oh yeah, we have a business.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, reality, you have not actually like done much at all.
It's
you
like
know?
it's like the guys that just say like, big things are coming, moving in silence.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, yeah. On their Snapchat story.
Yeah.
Don't hit me up, lock it in.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No, I 100% agree. And that's something I heard a long time ago, just, on Instagram or somewhere random.
Yeah.
It's really bad too for people who have ADHD,
Mhm.
like, cuz your dopamine receptors are firing off already.
Yeah.
It's premature.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that happens with me, but I try to catch myself.
yeah.
Like I definitely feel like like for a lot of things, my dopamine receptors fire off prematurely. You know, but nah, it's just about reeling that in and like coming back to reality, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because the novelty wears off quick.
Yeah, I like to speak big. Like it's, I don't know. Especially with Aggie entrepreneurs. Like I get so excited about what we're doing specifically.
Yeah,
It's hard not to get lost in it. You know?
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, execution though.
Yeah.
We're entrepreneurs. I feel like as like having like a executive staff for Aggie entrepreneurs, we should be the greatest executive staff on campus for any student-led org.
Yeah,
if
right,
you
dude.
think about it, like
Yeah, we're the leaders of the leaders, man.
that's what we're like logically as an entrepreneurial org. The org itself, like the structure should be good, you know.
Hypothetically, that's how it should be.
Yeah, hypothetically. No, but I just think that's like thinking about that now is pretty funny though.
Yeah.
Because it's like our whole existence is about creating companies and
Yeah.
and like a student led org.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah,
You
and
just got to be the best of the best. you
Yeah,
know,
and
no
a
pre-
student and a student led org is kind of like a business, so it's like
Yeah.
it's our whole shtick,
Fundraising,
you know?
operations, recruitment,
Yeah.
everything.
So let's actually dive into some of that. Tell me a little bit about what went into like how were the funds managed or how was fundraising and whatnot and
Dude, we started with no funds. It
Yeah.
was our bank account for Aggie entrepreneurs was zero up to the events we started doing on campus. So that was really difficult with recruitment specifically.
yeah.
But we found a lot of great ways to email blast out through the engineering department or through just a sign that I made myself and put on campus. Is that how you heard of it?
I honestly don't remember. I don't know. If,
I think
I don't
maybe
know
you
if
were
I
just
looked
looking
y'all.
for it.
Yeah, I think that's either that or I saw some. I don't think I saw some. I think I just found it.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like, okay, let me look up on Instagram if they're up yet, and then it was like
We have like, I think
Or-
like 15% of our members do that.
No. I found it through Cody.
Through Cody?
He I think he posted on the public A&M story.
I could see that. Yeah.
It was like no. Actually, it's very interesting how I found it. He posted because he's a photographer.
yeah.
He posted some photography.
Shout out Cody Hamilton.
Yeah, shout out Cody. No, he posted some photography and he's like, "Go show love to my page."
Yeah.
And I'm kind of into photography. Like I have my own camera and everything. And I was like, "Oh, these are great photos." I go to his page and I think Aggie Entrepreneurs was in his bio.
Damn, dude.
And I think that's literally how I found it. Was like,
oh shit, this is cool.
yeah. I mean, I was looking for it, but it was like I found it not looking for it. You know, it was like one of those like, I guess like meant to be kind of. Yeah.
It felt organic.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like if an apple fell from the sky. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it was like
Like Isaac Newton kind of.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't like I'd been looking for it previously. I didn't think it existed.
Yeah.
And then I go down a photography rabbit hole, and all of a sudden I see that it actually exists. And then I was
Dude.
like, oh,
I find some crazy shit just like 3 a.m. just like hyper fixated on my phone, just like
Yeah.
looking at random stuff.
dude, rabbit holes. I could go into a whole thing about that.
Say it, man. What's your what are your thoughts behind rabbit holes? Like what's so interesting about them to you?
About rabbit holes, like internet
Well,
rabbit
okay,
holes?
define rabbit holes, I guess. What do you mean?
It's,
by rabbit
it's
holes?
so when I say rabbit hole, it's like when you find a topic and you just keep going deeper in the iceberg. You know, I mean that's my definition. But one that I think I've been interested in recently.
Mhm.
Have you heard of the dead internet theory?
Mm-mm.
Dead,
Actually, maybe. Tell me about it.
So basically, there's like it was done by like a company, a research, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know how verifiable the numbers are, but basically they estimate that around, I want to say like 2016,
Mhm.
across all social media, there was more bots than active users.
I believe it.
And
I know Twitter has like more than half the users are bots.
and
From what I heard.
and so the dead internet theory is like a lot of like the content we see and the comments and everything's like AI generated. So like you can see like a whole conversation in the comments, think it's humans, but it's
Yeah.
actually just two bots going back and forth.
I see that on Facebook a lot, dude.
Really?
Yeah, like there's just an AI generated photo, and then you got bots just like, wow, this is awesome. Congrats. LinkedIn is horrible about that too, bro.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody, like half the people who comment on LinkedIn are using ChatGPT. I
Oh,
swear to God.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, LinkedIn just has those super generic like autofill features too.
That's true.
Like, dude, I do not like LinkedIn personally. It's so superficial.
It's really stupid, but dude, the engagement is crazy on it.
Really?
Yeah, like so typically with Instagram, you probably know this better than I do, honestly, with Zophis.
Yeah.
You know, you post every single day for weeks on end, you may or may not get engagement.
Yeah.
With LinkedIn, it's like I was posting once every 4 or 5 days, and it's like my engagement rate was getting like 25% better, 50% better.
Really?
I went from having like 5 likes on my first post, 10 likes, 15, 30. It's like it's crazy. I'm not even like connecting with people. They kind of just throw it on people's feed if you post something that's halfway interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I bet you some of that probably comes from the lack of posting on LinkedIn because it's like all you post is like, oh, I accepted this. But dude, my friend the other day, I don't know why he's like I'm on LinkedIn right now. Like it was my roommate. He's like I think he's eating and he's like, dude, I'm so bored of Instagram. I just went on LinkedIn, and they have like LinkedIn Reels now.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's crazy.
It's like a bunch of B2B, like people are trying to sell to you, or just like, I don't know. I do think some of the stuff, like if you curate it, it's actually kind of useful.
Yeah.
But dude, LinkedIn is horrible about like. I would like to humbly announce that I am now the CEO of this new startup company. Congratulate! It's a glaze fest, man.
See, the reason I hate LinkedIn is because it feels so fake.
Yeah, because it is.
Like it's like people are like overly positive.
Yeah.
They're definitely lying too. It's like, oh, I'm so happy. I just got a 2% raise at my job. Well, that's something to be happy about. But I mean, it's like, I just got a 2% raise at my job. I've been working here for 20 years. It's amazing, you know? Or it's like,
bro's a middle management.
Yeah.
Dude, I legitimately saw a post that said, I don't think we pay CEOs enough money. And it was a whole thesis on how we don't pay CEOs enough money because they bring in revenue, they're the leaders of the company, and then all the comments like were just like glazing this guy and just like totally agreeing with him. I'm like, you guys are crazy. You saw what happened with the United Health CEO?
Oh, I saw that like an hour ago.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. We live in interesting times.
You know who did it? Comp sci student.
Wow.
Dude, comp sci student.
Are you trying to say something?
No. No, I saw it because it was actually like an Instagram. This guy was explaining it.
Yeah.
Comp sci student, Ivy League.
Wow.
He was like a data engineer 3, which is pretty high up.
God, dude.
Like this guy was like low key stacked. Bruh, nah, he was like he was like a
he had something to lose.
Oh, he had a lot. Well, I mean, like Ivy League smart, looked like he was in great physical shape, right? Like,
he wasn't a bad looking dude from the photos I saw.
No,
too.
not at all. Not at all.
It's like this guy had a whole future out of him.
Like, yeah. And he's like,
man, fuck insurance companies.
Dude. But
I don't know if am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
No, you can. I don't mind. But
it's
Huh?
We're gonna get blocked from Instagram.
Nah.
Like the
Wait, do they do that?
I don't know.
Nah.
I'll be careful about
No, we're fine. I mean, as long as you don't overdo it, I don't care. But
or say any really derogatory things.
yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, no, it was actually like pretty crazy, like the kind of
Damn.
guy to do that, and apparently, I mean, I think he's still on the run. Have they caught him yet?
I have no idea. I saw the video of it happening, and then I saw like a news article, but that's about it, and some memes. So.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, that's one thing I wanted to talk with you about. Actually, it would be really sick with Zophis AI if like you could see what stories are trending or hot, and then instantly create content for it.
We have that.
You
We
do?
already have that.
Damn, dude.
We already
What
have
does it look
that.
like? Like, is it fleshed out? Is it?
Let me show you. Well, kinda. I mean, so every day we just pull in the most trending articles.
Yeah.
So it refreshes daily. But yeah,
Dude, you
we've
guys-
been on that.
Damn, dude. I need to catch up.
Yeah, no, that's how I grew my TikTok to 5,000. Actually, this was one of the biggest things. But
I feel like that kind of marketing
Yeah.
is crazy.
like,
Damn,
if
and you have
click,
you have it set up where it just shows you automatically.
yeah, and if you click, it gives you posting scripts.
I trust this news source. Like I don't Fox or CNN. I don't care about that. But this Zophis AI,
Yeah,
you have my vote.
Hey, Zophis AI, y'all tap in.
Free advertising.
Yeah, free advertising.
We're gonna that's
Sponsored
gonna
by.
be, yeah. That's funny, dude.
Dude, but honestly, that story's baffling.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
crazy.
Dude, I wonder, like,
What's the motive? You know,
I'm sure it's probably
like his mom got denied insurance or something, and she
Yeah.
died, or like something crazy,
yeah. I bet you a family member died.
Yeah.
Of something.
or like a like significant other of sorts.
Yeah. I mean I think that's really the only thing that can justify, because I don't
Yeah.
think he was crazy or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
like he had a stacked LinkedIn resume. People are talking about it. They're like, we looked him up on LinkedIn. He was kind of
shit.
going places, and I'm
That's
like,
funny, bro. Dude, imagine your employee or your intern being the guy that murdered the CEO of United Health. That's crazy, dude.
that is actually insane. But
I mean, well, I don't know. So it's possible, like, I know schizophrenics usually become psychotic, like, in college when they're like 25, 23, 24. Maybe it was like a psychotic episode where he was like super paranoid or something.
but like,
Because he had a lot to lose.
yeah, but I mean, like if it was like his mom or dad,
Yeah.
like I could see a crash out like that happening. To be fair, it's like,
You think it's a conspiracy? Maybe they're framing him for.
no. I don't think it was a conspiracy, but I don't know, dude. The comment section of the video I saw was crazy. Though. I mean,
Yeah.
the people are like, "This huge dub for CS majors."
Yeah.
Bro, people are calling him like a hero.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
people
like-
are like laughing at the person's death. I was like, that's.
Well, the thing, like, I was reading the comments and it's like, yeah, he killed one guy, but that one guy killed so many,
Yeah.
you know, because of how health insurance. I'm not saying
No, I
anything.
know.
I'm not on any
FBI
side
watch
here.
list.
Yeah, I'm not on any side here. I'm not justifying anything
Yeah.
but I was seeing that in the comment section. I was just like, thought it was interesting how people were seeing this event.
I mean, it says a lot on where we're at currently as a culture, you know? And
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why I love the startup scene so much. Because we're in a position right now where people who are CEOs of big corporations have a shit ton of money, and they're just completely just taking advantage of people, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm very cynical when it comes to the corporate route, and I don't think that could ever be for me personally.
Yeah.
But the startup scene, you know, you're working in teams together. It's that like authentic tribe
Yeah.
of people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to find that nowadays.
Yeah. Do you think there's gonna be others that follow suit of this guy?
Ooh, I think so. Yeah,
You think?
unfortunately. Yeah, I mean it's
You think other CEOs gonna go to? So here's what I find interesting. Like, this guy had to have planned this.
yeah.
Like,
He had a hoodie, everything.
well,
Like,
not only that, but he had to know exactly like
that's true.
where this guy is gonna be.
It's like stalking him.
yeah, like
On top of, landing internship deals with
yeah,
Fang and stuff.
exactly, dude. I wonder if in like his dorm room there's just like a bulletin board.
Oh my god.
And it's got like the guy's like picture on it, and he's just mapping out like, okay, he's gonna be here. He's gonna get off the. It was in a subway.
Dude, I wonder
like,
what
right?
his computer looks like. You know, like what kind of shit he's researching.
Well,
or,
I'm not
like-
gonna FBI, CIA. They're gonna scrap it, bro. We're not gonna
Yeah,
see it.
we're not gonna.
We're never gonna see it. For all we know, it could be like a FBI or CIA backed venture.
Yeah. Dude, don't get me started on the Las Vegas shooting, man. That's like very suspicious. Have you seen videos?
I've not, but I saw a meme and it was like SpongeBob explaining it. And he's
Bro,
like,
you need to have that with Zophis. Just like I know I've seen like Sonic explain like horrific tragedies in the African country or something.
yeah.
Like you need that with Zophis where you can have AI voiceovers of some news stories. You know? That'd be funny.
Might have to do something like that. I don't know.
Completely off track from the
Yeah.
dead CEO we're talking about.
Yeah. No, dude, there's I don't know. There's a lot. Like the thing that was to me surprising is the guy who shot at Trump, right?
Mhm.
The guy who missed. Well, two people missed, but the first one, right? The big
Mhm.
one at the rally. Like, nothing ever came out on him.
Yeah.
Like, even in subpoenas and stuff, you know?
I think it's really suspicious with that. Like, I kind of have a conspiracy that maybe Trump did that to himself.
Really?
Yeah, because I told my brother right after it happened, my brother's a huge Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's going to win that election just
Yeah.
because in people's minds, they see a conspiracy happening.
Mhm.
And whenever the conspiracy is against Trump, well, Trump is on our side.
Yeah.
And so he's the good guys. He's fighting for justice.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, dude. Politicians are sneaky. It's all about the public ratings.
That's true. I mean, the only thing I would say is I don't know that these answers could have been biased too or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I talked to a couple of people who are like heavily involved with guns,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, the kid was not good enough to miss by a couple of, like,
Yeah.
they said even like a pro, like especially on a moving target, you don't just graze an ear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Shit.
the only thing I'd say, because there's like, I see like the conspiracy because you can win the election that way,
Yeah.
but the margin of error like on that shot has to be
That's true.
zero. Like, and I just don't think.
Well,
like
was it actually him? Like, do they have videos of him actually shooting it?
I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, even for a pro,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
like the guy said, not only was the kid unskilled because he got cut from the gun.
It's like too risky.
team, but yeah, it's too risky
Yeah.
because on a moving target, like when a sniper's taking someone out,
Yeah.
it's easy because you have like the whole
Mostly
head
the
yeah.
body, yeah.
But to aim for an ear while they're like moving back and forth
Yeah.
is like, you have to be really good and really lucky, or just really unlucky to miss. And
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't really consider that.
yeah, and also I don't think it would have been I don't think it would have been possible for him to do it with the stuff he had, because he had like an iron sight or something
Damn.
on the gun. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you didn't even have a scope.
Nah,
Wow.
it was. Bro was grinding his COD camos.
Bro thinks this is Battlefield or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Nah, that is, bro. There's honestly like so many conspiracy. You remember when they came out with the stuff about aliens being real?
I think so. I heard a little bit about it. Like UFOs were
It's like
confirmed or
I
something.
think like Congress is like called the military. They're like, all right, you gotta tell the truth, and the guy's like, yeah, there's aliens or something.
Meanwhile, there's this entire political scheme happening in the background
Yeah.
that nobody's paying attention to.
Well, no, I think something literally happened like a few days before.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't even remember. That's how you know it works.
Yeah.
Because
It's distracting, man.
because I remember people talking about it. It's like, okay, are we just gonna not talk about like X, Y, and Z that just happened
Yeah.
or something? And I was
Bro,
like,
you need Zophis AI to be like a leading news source, you know? Like I would love to see that, like, if part of Zophis actually had like, you know, you would track news articles and then reference it to what actually happened or what people were talking about.
yeah.
Because you guys have the capabilities for something like that.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like in terms of news source, the best place I bet you to get it from would be like X.
Yeah.
I think that'd probably be the best place to try and get like articles from
That's true.
every day.
Yeah, because, I mean,
Like I'm saying we can pull that for specific genres
Yeah.
or something. Like we can definitely make something for that. But I don't think regular articles are like just like a CNN or
Yeah,
Fox
that's
is the way
true.
to go anymore.
I think what you notice, have you heard of this book called Teams of Teams?
Teams of teams? No.
It was written by a former general that was explaining how, with the creation of the internet and social media, tactics of war have drastically changed from, you know, being a very centralized effort with a hierarchy. And if you kill the general, you generally kill the org.
Yeah.
To now, it's like you can have cell groups that are working together under the same cause, but operating completely separately.
Yeah.
So you have like ISIS, for example, who, you know, they chop somebody's head off, they post it on the internet, gets a shit ton of likes, more recruitment.
Yeah.
And then even if the person who chopped the head off gets murdered or that entire cell gets destroyed, well, now you have new cells popping up under the same cause.
Yeah.
And so the tactics of war has changed a lot. And it's like, I went to an Innovation Forward event here at A&M, and they had a segment about the Department of Defense and technology startups happening at A&M.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that they were explaining to us that one of the companies, they make drones. Like, that's all they do. I don't know what the name is off the top of my head, but all they do is they create drones, and they were explaining how their entire process usually needs to be done in 2 weeks because that's when they launch it in Ukraine, and then that's when they have to pivot or reiterate because a new reiteration happened with the Ukrainian drones or the Russian drones or just the methods of fighting. So it's constantly adapting. It's like you have people, engineers that, you know, are no longer just sitting in the back room just, you know, working on a project that takes years on end, like stealth flyers or whatever. You have these engineers that are actually working in the field, constantly reiterating like a lean startup of sorts. You know, you got bubble gum and duct tape to build a freaking drone that'll bomb somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy where we're at with like Department of Defense specifically.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think of the Department of Defense like a business, right?
Yeah.
And when any business gets too big, it's hard to be as mobile as like a small startup.
I agree
So
with you.
I like that's the reason why startups will forever be startups. Like you won't be able to get rid of startups because any like I'm sure there's been stuff like Microsoft, Instagram or Apple or like just a FANG company, right? That's missed out on just because of the hierarchy and how big it is, you know?
Centralized. And although you do see more tech companies taking on this kind of teams of teams approach where they have different cell groups working on, they call it entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship, you kind of work separately from a business. You compete with other businesses. Entrepreneurship, you work within a business to create innovative solutions like an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
But the only problem with entrepreneurship, which I think entrepreneurship has an edge on,
Yeah.
is even though they have this teams of team structure,
Mm-hmm.
the way that things like get approved and stuff, it has to go up a long chain, you know? Like in a startup, it may be like you and I both know exactly what we're working on. You don't even have to like ask, like it's just already like we both know the goal.
It's self-managing.
Yeah, exactly. But let's say like I'm a software engineer at a Microsoft, right? And I
Yeah.
have an idea, right? Well, then I propose the idea to my manager, right? And he can shoot it down right there, or he can pass it on to his manager, and his manager can shoot it down or pass it on to the next. And so there's so many more layers for not only that idea to get killed,
Yeah.
but then it takes a while for it to go down or go up the chain. And if someone at the top's like, okay, or whoever has the permission or power to do that
Yeah.
approves it, then it's got to come back down, right? People are taking vacations, whatnot.
Okay, so that's more of like the traditional like hierarchical business where you have a bureaucratic system of approval, but with the team of teams system, you have I could be totally wrong on this, like I could be misquoting the entire book. You have a structure in which you have the typical hierarchical system where approvals are slowing the company down. You have a system in which you have one approval, and then you have these different groups that are acting as their own startup culture or whatever. And then you have a team of teams in which teams interact with one another with a cohesive network. And then you have a unifying communication system. So, like for the military, for example, in the book specifically, he was mentioning how instead of having this very slow approval system in which you have to get approval from the lieutenant, you had to get approval from the general, they had an entire network, like a platform in which they would host like a 1 hour meeting. The general and anybody else can voice their opinion, and it's just they kind of go through the mission statement of what they're doing and where they're trying to go. And what's interesting about this setup is that you have people who are solely responsible for the performance of what they do. And so if you're a soldier in Afghanistan, you're solely responsible for your squadron.
Yeah.
Or platoon, or I don't know the terms behind it. And so the performance of that platoon to the overall mission defies whether you are you get a higher ranking or et cetera, et cetera. But it's I don't know. I don't know if you can actually correctly put that system into business. I do agree with you that entrepreneurs naturally are a lot more flexible because even in the teams of teams situation with the unified network, you have somebody who is biased in what they say the mission is.
Yeah.
And the mission usually it changes quite frequently, but you still have a unified network of communication, whereas with the startup, it's constantly come and go. It's the biggest strength and biggest weakness.
Well, I know for a fact that I don't think that can work with business, and I have a really good example.
Okay.
Think of CrowdStrike.
Tell me about it.
Do you not know about the CrowdStrike? When
it's like
Windows,
the
all of Windows went down because they pushed an update they didn't test.
The clown strike.
Yeah,
Clown strike.
So they pushed an update they didn't test, and this, since it's so from a CS standpoint, I don't want to throw a bunch of jargon. The way you can think of it is this program is different from other programs because it can it communicates directly with the core of a computer,
like the foundation.
Yeah. Like you can think of like a computer, like just think of it as a little circle, and then you have like layers around it. This one was directly on the circle,
like a rebar to a foundation of concrete.
Yeah, exactly. So this was able to basically manipulate the nucleus of the cell, if you want to think of it like that, right? Like of your computer, or in this case, a Windows operating system. And so what it did was, I forgot, it turned off something like in a Windows system. So, I mean, the fix was easy. It was just like a reboot and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you have to do it manually. You can't do it remote or anything. So that was the big issue. But CrowdStrike lost billions. You know what I mean? And so
almost destroyed their business.
that's what I mean,
know.
it's pretty much, I think it's pretty much destroyed.
Yeah, the reputation is destroyed.
Yeah, I bet you. Oh, yeah. So many like companies who relied on CrowdStrike, or I bet you Microsoft probably is like.
Microsoft was probably pissed, dude.
Yeah, they're
They were
probably
mad.
because people were thinking it's like a Microsoft thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's the reason why I think, like a business like that.
I think. Well, okay, so I think it can apply. The team of team structure can apply to certain businesses, but you do have other businesses that require a lot more security clearances. That more.
Well, here's the thing. I think the team of teams work, or like approach works with things that, like, I feel like the more customers you have,
Yeah.
the more you need that hierarchy like approach.
What makes you say that?
Because I mean, like, if you were to, let's say, dissatisfy, like as a startup, right?
Yeah.
You'll like in the beginning stages of your startup, you won't even necessarily satisfy your customer, right?
Yeah. Customer discovery.
Yeah, exactly. And but the thing is, like, the less customers you have, the less your reputation will be tarnished when you do something bad. The more customers you have, the more your reputation is tarnished. And I think as a company or a brand, your reputation's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you could hypothetically have multiple brands under the same holding company, which corporations do all the time. And so if one company, their reputation is destroyed, the other ones are protected.
yeah.
So I think you could set it up like that, but the application of that actually being useful is
But that
depends.
that depends on why is there different companies for this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if they're offering different services, obviously, but you know, CrowdStrike, you don't really, there's not really branches under a holding, because that's a service, right?
especially with software, it's so scalable.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't have different companies representing different, and you wouldn't necessarily want to.
Yeah.
Right? Because your reputation is in the software, and the software you sell becomes really difficult if you don't have the reputation.
Yeah.
I do think, I don't know, in CrowdStrike's specific scenario, I think it speaks a lot to just the fragility of our cyber networks. You know,
Yeah.
like cybersecurity is huge right now.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily cyber networks, because that wasn't like a.
Or software networks, or
Well, the thing is, CrowdStrike is like a very special case. Most programs don't have access to the kernel, which is what it had access to. And that's also what makes CrowdStrike such a powerful, like, protector.
yeah,
You know, like, it's a good defense system. It just messed up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because-
I heard most of the software works really well. It's the people that mess it up. Is that true?
I wouldn't say that. I just think this was horrible, like, execution, because you had someone push an update that wasn't tested, wasn't like it wasn't like, it might have been approved, but like these people probably weren't paying attention much to it.
So you feel like it was more of an organizational.
Yeah,
failure?
it was definitely an organizational error. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like a people thing. It was more of like a, okay, this looks good, and then probably someone higher up. I wouldn't even blame it on the guy who made the update. Probably someone higher up's like, I bet you it's all right. I won't even check. You know, they probably did that.
Some CEO.
Yeah,
he doesn't
you
give
know,
a
like,
fuck.
I don't got time for this.
It's like software engineers, they'll
well,
take care of it.
It's because the updates the updates happen like every couple days, you know?
Yeah.
So this is like a routine thing almost, and I bet you like whoever's in charge of approving this stuff has done it in the past where they don't even look and they're just like, okay, it's
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And in the past it's worked, and so this time around they thought it would work and it does not work. And then they got burned for
Okay, with hacking specifically though, do you feel like we're very vulnerable right now where we're at with software to external hacking or internal hacking too?
I mean, it depend. It's on a case by case basis. The things that are most so the way I would think about hacking
Mm-hmm.
is let's think of let's think of a company as a wall,
Yeah.
right? Like a brick wall with the cement and the whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I forget.
Bricks, the cement, and then
Is it cement? Is that what goes between
Yeah,
the
I
bricks?
think
Yeah,
so.
bricks and cement. I thought it was like plaster, so something.
I-
Shit,
just
dude,
we're
go-
not in construction.
Yeah. I'll just go with cement. Anyways,
Yeah.
so the way to think about like software and how hackable it is
Yeah.
is like thinking of a wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say your wall's one brick. Well, it's really hard to get through that one brick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as that wall builds, right, there might be holes and gaps. So the more infrastructure you have,
Yeah.
the more opportunity there is for hacking. So
That's true.
it's not necessarily it's not a problem of, I would say, like code and computer systems,
Yeah.
because like the protections they have, and the reason why CrowdStrike is so good is because since it works with the kernel, it can really fill out all the cracks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's right on the nucleus.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's like the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
exactly. Well, it's just like, here's a good way to put it. So let's say I have a wall that's the width of this table, right?
Mhm.
It'd be very easy for me to watch who tries to cross this wall or not.
Yeah.
The longer wall you have, the more people you need watching it. But then the more blind spots you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the whole thing of cybersecurity, is like you're watching the walls, but when a company has too much wall, so to speak, and not enough people watching,
Yeah.
that's where the gaps are found, you know?
Do you what are your thoughts on like Bitcoin, blockchain? Because would that I know they talk a lot about like a decentralized structure, but I'm not exactly sure how that looks like, specifically in this scenario.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with how blockchain works. I
Yeah.
haven't really dug too deep into that. I think it works something. It's like basically a system of like authenticating and also passing things down a long system.
Yeah.
So if I understand it right, think of it as like, let's say a circle and there's like 8 dots,
Mhm.
right? Well, it's just a different way of making the 8 dots. And that's like your hash
Yeah.
code, right? But instead of 8 dots, there's millions, right? And so the path it takes, I think, is like the different kind of hash.
Isn't that kind of how Bluetooth works? Like you have hundreds of thousands different frequencies, but your phone is playing a certain frequency, and then you connect it with another frequency of your computer.
I don't know how Bluetooth works.
How the fuck does Wi-Fi work, dude?
Bro,
We got
I have no
How
idea.
did we build Wi-Fi from trees, rocks,
Bro,
rivers?
yeah.
Like,
I
humans
actually
are weird, bro.
Dude, I have no idea. The thing that, you know, strikes me
Yeah.
the most, or like that I find some of the most interesting, is like, think of a screen. Like each
Yeah.
pixel, like no one's coding each pixel or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like how does a machine know to light up like on an RGB scale X, Y, and Z based off ones and zeros?
I think a lot of it has to do with like nanotechnology, right? You have these microchips that are incredibly sophisticated. Like if you zoom into them, they're like they just don't stop. You know, I think the smallest we can get is like 2 nanometers
Yeah.
of like hardware, and so we have these lasers that are insanely precise, and so we can build an entire computer in our pocket.
Yeah. No, it's
for
I
our
mean,
pocket.
technology now is getting pretty crazy. I took a computer architecture course,
Yeah.
which is like building like a computer.
Wow.
Not like the graphics card. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about I'm talking about like the actual logic that goes into like a
Wow.
CPU
Like
or
the mother frame.
yeah,
the
or motherboard.
motherboard.
I mean, not necessarily. I think it was mostly just like a OS system.
Yeah.
Um, and so this was like a project we did over the course of the semester, and I'll say like even after building that, like I
Mhm.
understand the logic, right? Because you have all these and OR gates or whatever.
Yeah.
And these gates are like ones and zeros, so it's like 1 or 0, it's 1, blah blah blah. Right? You have all this stuff, and you have your RAM and your ROM and whatnot,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that interests me the most is like we were able to get it to a point where it said like 1110001, like based on your inputs and outputs.
Yeah.
But it's like, how did we get from that all the way to just animation on a screen? That's what
Yeah.
doesn't like,
And then AI now.
like, yeah. Also, storage is very interesting.
Storage.
Yeah, if everything
Yeah.
is ones and zeros, and the way like things are stored is very interesting because it's on like a spinning disc, and there's these two magnets. That's the old SDD.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'd be like this disc, and that it'd be reading from that, and I still don't understand how it reads, even though it's like circulating and stuff. I don't understand how that memory's like written and stored, and then how you can just how it knows where exactly to go and whatnot. Like it's,
Rocket science.
dude, I know, I know.
Oh, what's crazy is like the technology of rockets and how we came from the 1950s landing on the moon to where we're at now with AI and our computer systems. Like our technology is insane nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know when was the moon landing?
1963.
Okay, so
Maybe.
I wasn't that far off.
Yeah, it's about 60.
Watch us both here.
1963 is either the moon landing or JFK assassination. It's one of those.
some big event.
Because it happened.
both.
It happened under Lyndon B. Johnson, right?
I don't
The
know.
moon landing. I think they took out JFK. By
Nuclear, dude. Have you heard of what they're doing with nuclear energy?
Then. Yeah, I've always been a big
Crazy.
fan.
Yeah, like my parents are really against it because my parents are a lot older.
Yeah.
They were born in like the 60s, and so nuclear energy to them is very like stereotypical. It's
Yeah.
like nuclear war, meltdowns, stuff like that. But nowadays, it's like I think that's the best option we have going forward.
What, nuclear power plants?
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to like fossil fuels.
Well, no, they're the cleanest energy. They're also one of the lowest in death per like.
It's really safe nowadays too. With
It is really safe.
technology.
You know.
That's what they say. I mean, maybe it's
I don't know. I think it's still like, I feel like we've already learned off the mistakes based
Yeah,
off
that's
just
true.
the meltdown in Japan and then Chernobyl, right? Like those were like 50s, 60s. You know, those were old.
7 years ago.
Yeah, and that was like very early into the technology. You know, like
Yeah.
I think the first nuclear bomb was 1945, 44
Sure.
or something,
Damn.
World War II, right? So realistically, they only had anywhere between like 5 and 20 years.
Did they even have color TV back then?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, I'm not sure.
Like if we, that's crazy, dude. Cause
Wait, maybe not because and the reason I say that is because wait, actually I don't know. If it's like 1965, I don't think so.
bro, we
because-
need like a Jamie like with Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Hey,
Hey,
Jamie, can you
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Where's your co-founder at? Maybe he could be the Jamie.
Hey, Miles, can you
Miles,
can you pull that up? It was funny. He was
1963. Is that true?
yeah.
What?
No, he was actually. I recorded an episode with him right before this.
That's
so.
cool, man.
But the reason why I want to say it's black and white is because I watched Back to the Future over Thanksgiving, and
the original one.
yeah, and they went back I think 20 years. The movie's in 1985, I think so, 1965.
Yeah.
And there's a black and white TV set. So,
damn.
So
Historically,
according to my calculations,
expert information. Dude, this is funny. We're just throwing information out.
I know, dude. If I interpolate my memories of the movie Back to the Future,
based off of my findings,
yeah, we shouldn't have colored TVs back then.
That's crazy, dude. Because now, like, what you can do with it, you have Las Vegas with the dome, an entire dome of just screens displaying whatever you want.
Think how far like video games have come.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
Like it went from like a block going up a screen,
yeah,
to now you can 360 no scope someone and
VR. You can play Call of Duty Zombies. You know, like
yeah.
I don't know if you can play COD. I've seen like some crazy zombie games though with the VR. It's like these couples do it together, so it's him and then the girlfriend. They're playing this zombie VR game together. It's fucking horrifying, dude.
Is it awesome? Or?
Yeah, you got zombies like jumping at you.
Is it like a survival game or is it just like a wave?
It's. I think it's. There's different games out there, so I know the one I was looking at specifically, it was kind of like a survival game, but you did have missions.
Yeah.
So you needed to go into a building, clear out these zombies, and dude, it's so funny watching these people just.
I honestly, my biggest, I wouldn't say like wish or dream, but
yeah,
something I really look forward to, which honestly could also be the downfall of humanity. Is like have you ever seen like Ready Player One or whatever?
That sounds really familiar.
It was a movie. No, I want it to get to where like you can like put on a VR headset, right?
Yeah.
And you can't like you're just like that. You're in another world. You can't tell like the difference. And the reason I say that is because I want if no one makes this, I will at some point in my life. But I literally want to play a game where I could be like a general in like medieval times.
This is like some Rick and Morty shit, you know?
You know what I mean? Like I'm a general in medieval times, and it's like it's almost like it's reality, right? You know?
Life would be so boring though after that. You come back and you're like, what the fuck am I doing, dude?
You're like
I'm doing laundry.
You're in an RV, right? And you put on this headset, and all of a sudden you become Napoleon. Well, that's what I said. I think it could be like everyone's gonna just be with these headsets on, living in poverty. But when they have it, you don't even remember like the real world, right? Because it feels so real.
Dude, I have a Catholic uncle that legitimately believes that technology is gonna be the cause of revelations.
Really?
AI is the Antichrist.
Really?
Yeah, he legitimately. And to be fair, his points are kind of valid.
Yeah.
Like it's scary where we're going at right now.
Yeah, I actually on the episode I recorded right before this.
Yeah.
We actually talked about like AI and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my theories, or not even a theory, I think this is pretty true, is like I think technology is advancing too fast.
Yeah.
For our like evolution, you know,
100% agree.
Because a lot of technology targets our survival instinct, basic needs. Like dopamine, that's a survival mechanism, and so it's targeting these things, right? Because dopamine's like, okay, this should be helpful for you, right?
Yeah.
But we're also getting targeted by it being harmful, so to speak, like scrolling on reels.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. Because it's like we're at a point right now where technology is going past our human nature.
Yeah.
And so what happens whenever we can't keep up with it? Well, then we start experimenting with how we can change human nature.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thought, dude.
That is, well,
Genetics.
bro, like cyberpunk, cyborgs,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, not even that. Like I legitimately believe that, right now we're in the AI revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately believe the next revolution is going to be genetics.
Probably. I mean, have you seen the stuff with Neuralink?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit.
It's
freaky.
The guy,
The guy was an A&M student, actually.
really, the guy, like the first person to get tested
on the
on?
wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah, he was an A&M student.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Oh wow. No, but I forgot what game he was able to play. It was I don't know. I think it was COD.
I think no, it was CS:GO.
CS:GO, yeah,
CS:GO, yeah.
CS:GO. He was able to play that. I was like,
That's
oh my,
freaky, dude.
that's crazy, dude. Talk about Elon Musk. How do you have all these different like ventures and companies, and still like
bro is
he has-
literally Tony Stark.
No,
but
he
slightly autistic.
he's not Tony Stark. He's Doctor Strange because
Yeah.
his day is like 64 hours. It's not 24.
Yeah.
You know, like he has time to be a top 20 ranked Diablo player in the world, which is crazy, right?
Oh shit.
Owns X, Tesla, SpaceX, XAI now, which is
I haven't heard of XAI.
its valuation. It surpassed like OpenAI, like where
Wow.
XAI is, like at its lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It surpassed where OpenAI was at its lifetime.
Wow.
Like by a lot.
What does the XAI do?
It's just a competitor to OpenAI,
Oh,
ChatGPT,
okay.
all that.
Yeah.
It's like Elon Musk getting
Dude,
into the
AI and Neuralink, that's scary, dude.
yeah.
That's like we're gonna be living in a dystopian future.
Dude, we're already in that future cuz
Little bit.
with Teslas, they can shut
Sure.
off your Tesla, right?
It's damn.
Like dude, imagine like you have like the cyber stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
here's the thing with the chip. Like once it works and once it improves humans, there's honestly like humans won't really have a choice not to get it.
Yeah. I do think you're seeing more companies that we're considering ethics more and more. Like I
Yeah.
took an engineering ethics class and he pretty much explained to us that it's no longer about what you can create. It's about if you should.
Yeah.
And it's in the 1900s you could just build whatever and then it would blow up in people's face and then there's more regulations put onto it. But
Yeah.
nowadays we're actually having discussions on like should we have AI? Like,
Yeah.
should we even really push this far into innovation? Of course, you got a bunch of venture capitalists and corporations that love the idea because it's more money, more shareholder value, and it's just interesting to a lot of
Yeah.
people. But I do agree with you 100%. I think we're focusing too much on innovation and not enough on humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I don't know. Like, AI is a tricky one because there's so many that like there's definitely good points on both sides of that coin,
Yeah.
like for
It's
and
tricky.
against it. Like some claim it's the great liberator.
Yeah.
Like
I do think if we can maintain a decentralized structure where we don't have a government or corporation completely in ownership of the best AI tool
yeah,
and it completely takes over, if we can still maintain a decentralized structure like what we have with the internet, for
Mhm.
example,
yeah,
I think we could do incredible things. It's really one side of the coin, you have the evils of AI.
yeah,
And most of that argument comes from the corporations having complete control, having all this information on people. And then the other side of the coin is like, we're actually doing miracles with AI.
Well, here's the good thing. Here's something on the bright side is
Mhm.
with all these different companies competing, like in the future, I don't think it would be like, oh, we only have one AI model. I mean,
Yeah.
like even now, there's one company, I'm blanking on the name. One of its models just surpassed like OpenAI's.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's I mean it's only around like 2 or 3 billion valuation for the company. But I think Amazon's investing a lot into it. I'm trying to think. It's not Perplexity. It's another one.
Well, it's like, look at what Google did, for example. Whenever they were first created, they were created by two PhD students
Yeah.
at the time. There were other search engines available.
Yeah.
Yahoo and Bing I think Bing was a thing. It was already around. But the thing is, they became so powerful because they did it right.
Yeah.
And, what if you have an AI like ChatGPT or XAI that completely takes over the market and gets to the point where it kind of monopolizes it a little bit?
I mean, I'd say that's a good point, but also I don't think companies were focused. Well, first off, not enough companies knew about the internet or even
That's true.
focused like creating a good web browser, right? Like wasn't on the top of a bunch of people's minds or
Yeah.
companies' minds, right?
Whereas now,
Because it
with
was so new.
AI, everybody's talking
Yeah,
about it.
with AI, it's like Elon Musk pours in like 40 billion, right? It's like
Yeah.
Google's putting all their money into it. Facebook, right? You're having all these different companies pour a lot of money into it, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a whole lot more competition because in the with the internet and how fast word travels now,
Mhm.
like the speed at which you have to attack an opportunity is even more.
Oh, it's never been more competitive.
Exactly. And so like with web browser, yeah, there's probably a huge need for that, but I bet you not enough people even knew about like, oh, we need a better web browser or like companies, so to speak, you know?
Well, if we're going to compare like AI to the internet, for example,
Yeah.
what is the search engine of AI? You know what I mean? Like, what is that part that we're missing that is, worth billions and billions of dollars that may even turn into a monopoly? Like, we don't have the answer yet.
That's a great question.
We would have that $1 billion idea.
Probably AGI.
It's yeah,
Could be.
yeah. I mean,
that probably is it. AGI is to
Yeah.
where it becomes
maybe that's why Sam
Like,
Altman is like
where-
pushing so much money in it.
yeah, well, where it gets to the point where it can be like sustain itself, you know? Because like for the internet, the whole point of the search engine was instead of you having to type in the whole URL,
Mhm.
now you have something that scrapes the internet and gets you these URLs.
Yeah.
Like maybe instead of you having to prompt engineer, now you have something that just like you give it a task and then it reiterates and everything, so you don't have to keep asking it to do changes to this and that. It just automatically fixes itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the whole search engine thing you're looking for.
I think we're definitely playing with fire.
Yeah.
And it's both exciting and terrifying.
Yeah.
Because, Zophis AI wouldn't be possible without AI.
Yeah.
You have all these new startup companies that are entering the scene specifically for AI, but it's like, I don't know. It's always the I don't know that's terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I told my co-founder who's just on, I was like, startups are like venturing. It's like you're trying to go sail to India, but you land in the Americas.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this
Yeah.
is with AI too. It's just another thing where we're exploring the unknown, you know? And so at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And what you don't know can't be good or bad. It's just the
That's
thing.
true.
I also like the way I look at things is I never see anything as good or bad. I just see it as a thing, you
Mhm.
know? I forget like the anecdote or the story, but it's basically like a back and forth of, oh, this guy broke his leg and he like yelled at God,
Mhm.
right, or something. But then he missed an airplane. Like he couldn't fly to this competition, but the
Mhm.
airplane crashed, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like, was him breaking his leg a bad thing or a good thing? No, at the end of the day, it was just a thing. You know what I mean?
I do think it's relative though to
Yeah.
like how it's in the objective sense. Yes, it's a good.
Well,
It's just it is.
it's the thing is though, I don't think it can be relative because you don't know what happens in the future. So you don't know when that thing actually pans out, you know? Like me breaking my leg now could be like a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
But then it creates a chain of events that stops me from dying in some other thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's why even though you're saying relative, you could be saying it relative to your past or relative to the present. But since we're always moving kind of in a future direction, we're not staying stagnant or going back. That's my whole philosophy on like anytime something good or bad happens, I take a step back and I'm like, it's just a thing because I don't know how it's going to turn out.
Well, okay. What I mean by relativity is not only like how does it affect me as a person, but also like the time in which it affects me. So like in your scenario, my life could be an absolute shambles. It's horrible. You know, I could be like Job from the Bible, in which my life is a complete wreck, and then I die and none of it matters.
Yeah.
But then my life was actually led up to this amazing miracle of some sort of greater good for humanity.
Yeah.
But that's still relative because the timeline in which it affects me versus when it affects future people is kind of what's important too. Because, you know, as humans, we naturally want to strive for the best for ourselves and for other people.
Yeah.
Because the best for other people is also the best for ourselves. And so I do agree with you in an objective sense. We can't really say if it's good or bad. But that also comes to the argument of like, will we ever know what the truth is?
Well, that's what I said. I don't think you do because
I mean nobody.
Because I mean, once you know it's a good or bad thing is pretty much when you die, right? Because I mean, up until you die, something bad can always turn good, and something good can always turn bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it's like
I do get what you mean though. Yeah.
I think it's more of like it's not even like a philosophy or morals thing. It's more of just like a mindset, like not to get too happy for the good and not to get too sad for the bad.
I think that's useful in anything you do.
Yeah.
Like I see how the mindset is useful.
Yeah.
I just think that logically, I do think that it's difficult for me to connect with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in business, dude. Like you have to just be neutral through the storms.
Yeah.
I think that's where faith comes in a lot. You know, you hear a lot of successful entrepreneurs talk about faith. And I think it's especially important with where we're at with our careers and our journeys because we really don't know what the future looks like.
Are you talking about like religious faith or just
to most people it's religious faith, but to others it's just a general faith that everything's going to work out.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. I mean, I guess that's how I kind of see it. It's like I don't know how it's going to work out, but it'll figure its way out. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you just got to take care of yourself along the way.
It's not the end of the world until it is. Dude, that scares me. That actually like I think I actually have like a huge paranoia of like nuclear war.
Yeah.
Like I know
it's justifiable, man. It's scary.
Dude.
Like could be nuked right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like more and more often I need to like stop thinking these kind of thoughts, dude. More and more often I'm like just sitting and I just like imagine if a nuclear blast just happened like right here.
Or like they're building a new nuclear reactor on Relis. And so what if something bad happens right now and that melts and we all die? It's possible.
Well, I mean,
but does it matter? I mean, like we won't have any ultimate control in it.
I mean, is the melt like an explosion? I don't think it's like an explosion. I think it just like it's a leak of
radiation.
Yeah. I mean, we'd be able to get out of that.
Yeah.
You know?
It kind of depends like what you're talking about though with this general sense of like doom.
Yeah.
I think it really matters on like how much control we have over it.
Yeah.
It's still like kind of depressing and anxious to think that like, you know, we could literally be attacked by China with their slaughter bots programmed with AI to assassinate every American.
Slaughter bots. I haven't
Dude,
heard of this.
you haven't heard of holy shit. So
oh no.
in my military ethics class,
Oh no.
we legitimately had a debate on if autonomous drones should be used in the military. What do I mean by that, right? So autonomous drones means that you program a drone to kill or not to kill somebody using AI or special software. So it's not manned by a person. It completely operates on its own. And what's terrifying about it, and then I'll also tell you what's good about it. What's terrifying about it is that you can have these terrorist groups program these slaughter bots to assassinate people based off of a certain characteristic. And so you can just throw these drones in the air and then they just go on campus, murder like 1,000 people. One of them is the actual person that you intended for. But the good side of it is like, okay, soldiers are emotional, right? Mm-hmm. They're under a lot of stress that affects the way that they think. If we can program these drones to be ethical, that's a big if, right? If we can program them to be ethical, it may be more efficient and more effective in the mission.
Dude, I'm going to be honest, bro. If a terrorist organization gets their hands on the slaughter bots, dude, they're not thinking ethics.
Yeah, no, I know.
We can all we want. They're not thinking. They don't give up.
Here's the bad part. It's probably going to happen either way. We probably have no control because that technology is there. We have the drones and we have the AI.
We just need defense, bro.
Yeah. We're focusing a lot on offense with the Department of Defense, but we have like no defensive measures.
Aren't we the Department of Defense, not Department of Offense?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, dude, fun fact. They actually named it Department of Defense from a marketing or a branding thing that happened like in the 1980s or early 2000s. Originally, it was the Department of War. They changed it to Department of Defense because in people's mind, when you say war, it makes us look like the bad guys.
Yeah.
Department of Defense is like, oh, we're defending against terrorists or, you know, some sort of ideological group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Marketing, bro. Branding.
Dang, bro. That
framing is everything in politics.
That CS major who went for the United guy could have just coded it all.
He could have, bro.
Dang, bro.
Dude,
That's
Elon talks about this. He's like, you can literally code a robot right now to assassinate somebody. Like, I can put a software package on 1,000 drones, have them fly up in the air, and they'll just assassinate whoever I want. Like, he talks about how AI, specifically for military purposes, is really, really dangerous. Really slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I agree with him, man. It's scary, dude. The technology we have available is like...
Oh. Man, oh, man. All right. Let's wrap up with a question.
Wrap up. Yep.
Wrap up with one question. So, okay, I'm not going to ask you what I asked the last episode.
Yeah.
So, if you could rid humanity of one technological innovation,
shit,
what would it be? Oh, that's a good one. I cooked with that question.
I'm gonna have to think about that. I would say probably AI, honestly.
AI?
Yeah, I'm cynical when it comes to AI.
Yeah.
Like, I think the internet has done a lot of good and bad, but mostly, I would say it's like 50-50. I'd say nuclear energy has been really great. Most of our technological advancements are great. Either AI or genetics.
Honestly, I thought this would be a hard answer for me, but then I just thought about it. Nukes would be mine. I'd get rid of nukes.
Well, bro. that would remove the nuclear energy, though. In my mind, at least.
I'd rather live in a world without nuclear energy and no nukes
Yeah.
than in a world with nukes and nuclear energy.
That's
Because
true.
what good is that energy if it's just wiped off the face of the earth? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we can work with solar panels and hydro, whatever.
I would say, actually, I take my answer back. It's not AI. I would say genetics.
Genetics.
Yeah, because I think AI, we can work with. It has a lot of goods for it as well. Genetics, though, I don't see anything good coming from that.
Yeah.
Like, it's only the rich can afford it, which means that the rich will be able to genetically modify their children, making them even more powerful. You could have super babies, super soldiers.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we need to just rewind the clock on that because we're playing God with genetics,
I don't know if you get a bunch of super babies. I mean, the smartest guy in the world. He
True.
lives on a farm. Maybe all these super babies, they just go
True.
live on farms or something.
Yeah.
They're like
Put them in a nice little community.
They're so superior that they're like, we have no need for material things. And
Dude,
just,
but that's gonna create like an elitist class, And then you throw immortality into it, and you have these elders that are genetically better than.
I wouldn't want to be immortal.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, dude. This life is. Fuck this, dude.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's a bunch of problems that come when you're like immortal, right?
Yeah.
Because I think what gives life so much value is that it's only limited, and so you cherish everything a whole lot more. If you're immortal, you're like, oh, I can start this tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into next year, and next year turns into 10, and you're not doing anything, right? So I think it takes the meaning out of life if it's unlimited. I think
Dude,
keeping it
I could
limited.
go on this whole spiel.
Yeah.
Like my, so I come from like Christian backgrounds, right?
Mhm.
And it's really interesting when you hear about like the Garden of Eden, God, immortality, mortality. There was actually two fruits, the fruit of knowledge and the fruit of immortality.
Mhm.
We only had the fruit of knowledge. We were saved because God kept us away from the fruit of immortality.
Yeah.
The devil wanted us to eat that fruit so we could be like him. And I've seen really interesting concepts with movies where it's like we figured out immortality and it turned us in like Satan.
Yeah.
Because you can sin forever.
Yeah,
You know,
I know. I
You don't die and you're saved.
I don't think it would be like I don't think it would be enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's like, okay, let's say you're like a ruler of the world or whatever,
Mhm.
right? I mean, at one point or another, you're gonna get burned out or exhausted. It's not like your brain is starting with new memories every day or anything. Because you're gonna have the same memories, wake up day in day out,
Mhm.
right? And then things are just gonna become clockwork, right? Because what happens when you experience everything this universe has to offer? What are you doing then?
I think if you were to be immortal or you couldn't die like at all. No matter what happened, you can't no matter what happens, you can't die. I think you would just live through other people's stories. Like you would essentially be the Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
You would be the Superman and Superman.
Yeah.
You would live through stories that aren't your own because your own you can't have a story if you're immortal
Yeah.
because your story lives on forever.
Yeah, because it never ends.
And I think maybe that's why I don't know. There's some advantages to being mortals.
Yeah.
We get to live our own story,
Yeah.
bad or good.
Exactly. Well, thank you for coming on, Chris.
Yes, sir.
It's been great.
Yeah, it's great.
Hope
Dude.
y'all have enjoyed this episode, and we will see y'all in the next episode of DMac Pods. Peace out.